Hi, back again, and I'm going to make this video for Mr. Josh that had purchased my titanium exhaust system off my other bike, which was real nice. I talked to him for a couple hours, and he decided to pull the trigger. So, Josh, I basically made this video. I'll send you the link on my through Facebook Messenger so you can watch this. Josh had called me, or actually, Josh posted on a forum that he needed an exhaust, and I messaged him through the forum, and then he contacted me back, and you know, he decided to buy this exhaust system. And after talking to Josh, I hope you're watching this, he didn't seem like he was really like mechanically inclined to do this, but I just want to make this video so you can do that, put this exhaust on. It's super easy, and then I'm going to show you how to pull the computer, and then the reason I gave you the computer was so you don't have to touch the chip. Don't want you touching the chip. Just unplug one. These ECUs work from 99 to 2003 and 2004 through 2005 Tuonos. So everything interchanges. You don't have to mess with the chip or the computer. It's just easier. That's why I'm sending you the whole computer. So we'll get into this. And Josh, you can do anything, buddy. Just because you haven't done it before doesn't mean you can't do it. You mentioned something to me. You said, well, you're a mechanic. Well, Josh, I'm not a mechanic. I'm actually a janitor. You have to actually try to do things. And once you try to do things, you might break some things. You know, I broke plenty of things before when I've been turning a wrench. So you just have to learn from your experience, but this is super easy. So I'm going to walk you through this so you don't have any problems. And I'm going to send you a couple catalogs in that box with that exhaust, and I'm going to send you some other stuff in there so you get your bike running top notch from Amsoil. So yeah, we're going to get into this. Now, Josh, this was actually the hanger that came on that bike with that exhaust system, which was in black. This is the hanger I'm going to send you because I just had this laying around for a solo seat. This one with the foot peg, I'm actually going to use that. So this hanger is actually what you want. They're the exact same length. That's what I was worried about, because that can is a little scratch where the mounting bracket is. So I pulled the rubber out and gave it to you, and I opened this ECU up. I'll put the photo up here so you can see that you're getting that. You're probably going to open this up. Don't touch nothing. Just open it up and confirm that that chip's in there. And then I'll get you through on this other one. I'm plugging it in. Go ahead and remove your seat cowl. It looked like you didn't have a cowl, but you had a seat. So pull that off because it's going to be easier to access the computer, the ECU there. Now on this harness, I told you needed to clip your number 16 wire that on this other bike that this computer and this exhaust system came from. It wasn't clipped, so you don't have to. But if anybody watching this, when you run a two-stage chip, this bike actually has a Gabbro chip in it. So it's got two stages on it, and I have not wired this in, but this wire right here, this blue and green wire, is your number 16 wire that you need to clip. And it's on the second plug-in, and it's the second one down. There's the one on top of it's green and black, and the bottom one is green and blue. But that's the wire that you clip when you want to wire a switch in so you can change your settings. It's quite incredible that these bikes made in the late 90s to early 2000s actually you could do this on these bikes. But I guess when you buy a high-end Italian bike back then, it was, you know, top of the line. Actually, these bikes surpass sometimes even bikes manufactured today. So I'm going to go over this other bike and show you here on the ECU. So on this other bike, the ECU has been removed. You just have the two clips here, and that other wire has not been cut on this one, the number 16. So you're just going to unplug this one and unplug this one. Make sure your battery is removed, and then just replace the ECU into the unit. Quickly, Josh, this is the SP exhaust system, which is also known as the shotgun exhaust. It's just like the titanium system. You have two springs here. Just remove your original OEM springs. You've got one on this side, and you should have one on the back side here. You actually shouldn't have to remove this belly pan when you do this. Just remove these two springs here. I've got a tool for it, T-handle hook tool, but you'll probably use a set of needle nose pliers, and that'll pull that exhaust system off. And then you'll want to reuse this bolt that you've got from the factory, because I have to keep mine off of that bike so I can put exhaust back on there. And then you'll put your bracket on there. and put the rubber piece on the inside of the bracket, and then put your bolt in. Really simple. And then on your exhaust system here, you're going to have your 2 latches right there for your springs to hold it in. It's really simple to do this. And you had mentioned something about this dent on the back side. When you go to install this pipe, you'll notice that this has a dent in it to clear your swing arm. It's there, put in there by the factory. So it's on the inside there. It's there for a reason, to clear that swing arm. All right, Josh, that's it. It's really simple to do. You're going to have that done in about 40 minutes just by watching that video. It's really easy to do, and you're going to notice some performance gains. And I'm also going to throw you some Amsoil 15W50 for these bikes. This stuff here, I told you I was running 20W50, which is the Harley oil in this bike. It made a huge difference. If you go through my YouTube videos, you can talk about it all the time. But this 15W50 Amsoil just came out with for basically European bikes. And I also like to say, I had somebody comment on one of my other videos about, you know, it's real funny, I put a Ducati video up, and I'm not sure on the internet you can just be whoever you want and add any comment that you want, but he put, the first posting was, the first comment was Schaefer online, checker flag, emoji, blah, 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 for, you know, that, and I put LOL, and then it's got to be someone local that's fucking with me. But what this person doesn't understand is he's probably going up to the Harley dealer in Springfield because they recommend Schaefer oil, and Schaefer oil is great oil for your Harley and whatnot, but Amsoil actually provides more protection than Schaefer oil, and it's actually got more additives and features in there to clean your engine and your transmission. And this other person was talking about, well, I run it all 3 holes, which is perfectly fine, you know, but do you really want to run motor oil in your transmission and your primary? The thing about the Amsoil on the V-twin bikes, especially these Harleys, is they've specially formulated transmission oil that I think is about 110 a gear oil, or the primary is 110 weight, which is formulated for the transmission, and then the primary oil is formulated for the primary specifically. There's nothing wrong with putting 20W50 in all 3 holes. Harley's been doing it for years, but especially if you boost horsepower and whatnot, you actually want to go with the gear oil type in the transmission or the primary. And the other thing is that this person doesn't realize is he might be spending the Schaefer oil is about the same price as the Amsoil, and he's purchasing the Schaefer oil. And the one thing about the Amsoil V-twin oil is if you use an Amsoil EA oil filter, 20 micron oil filter with a 99.8, I believe, or 98.9 efficiency on those EA filters, you can double your service intervals on that oil change. So the standard oil change on a Harley, I believe, is 5,000 miles. You can actually take it with that oil filter and that oil. You can take that oil change to 10,000 miles. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's not what Harley recommends. Well, you're pissing your money away, because that's what you could do. I run my car 25,000 miles on the oil that I run, and I have no problems whatsoever. And then the transmission and the primary fluid as well will help cut heat back inside the engine. But those Amsoil primary and training fluids have to be changed at the same interval as Harley, which I think is kind of funny. So I'll throw you a couple catalogs in there. You had mentioned something about you know a guy that's down there by the Dragon's Tail, so I want him to read some of that. But even on the sport bikes that you were telling me about with him, he can double those intervals on those oil changes on those bikes if he's able to get an Amsoil EA filter for those bikes. Amsoil doesn't necessarily have EA filters for all bikes like these Aprilias. You have that cartridge type filter, so you can't do that. But yeah, real simple, Josh. Thanks for buying it, buddy. You're going to help me complete my bike. I'm helping you out, and thank you very much. If I ever get down to Dragon's Tail, I will definitely look you up and give you a shout out. Later.